Yes. Seconder. It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda as it is without amendment. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. And those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Therefore, the agenda has been adopted. We will proceed with the second item. That's consideration of activity reports and financial statements of Kuntaur Area Council. If I may remind, yesterday you took oath. You are still on the oath. There is no need to go through that process. To remind you that you are still on the oath, and to do the consideration, we'll begin with the financial statements. On that, first on finances, and then the management data, and then finally the activity report. Honorable colleagues, on the finances, it could be noted that the audit expressed a disclaimer of audit opinion that the financial statement of Kuntaur Area Council for the year ended 31st December 2019 have been audited, and that the financial statement comprises of revenue and expenditure statement and balance sheet for the year that ended and other explanatory information. That because of the significance of the matters described in the basis for disclaimer of opinion in the paragraph, the auditors have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide basis for an audit opinion. Accordingly, they do not also express an opinion on financial statements. The basis of disclaimer, the audit continued to express that conducted audit in accordance with the international standard for supreme audit institution, and responsibilities under those standards are further described in the audit responsibilities for the audit or the financial statement for section of the report. That the independent of the entity in accordance with the Code of Ethics for Supreme Audit Institution together with the ethical requirements that are relevant to the audit of the financial statement to the audit of the financial statement at Banjul. Typo. And that the Gambia are relevant to the audit of the financials, and that the Gambia and Banjul and the Gambia have fulfilled his other ethical responsibilities in accordance with these requirements and the Code of Ethics, that believe the audit evidence have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for opinion. And the following bases are used for the disclaimer of opinion. One, on confirmed account balances. And these are the issues that are highlighted on the finances that we want the Council to make clarification. One, on confirmed account balances. The account balances of the revenue expenditure stated and the balance sheet for the year under review were not confirmed. That this was as a result of non-maintenance of ledgers for individual accounts and improper maintenance of the cash book. To the finance director, we would like you to shed light on this first issue that has been highlighted by the auditor.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. The number one, the unconfirmed account balances. Okay. What they were saying, they were not able to have access to revenue ledgers, which I will insist. No, we have given them the revenue ledgers. Yeah, from the ledgers, we are able to extract our balances for financial statements. So saying they don't have access to revenue ledgers, I disagree. Thank you very much.
National audit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for the opportunity. Usually, National Audit Office, we don't go outside our report. Audit is a process, starting from sending the engagement letter. Engagement letter will set out the terms and conditions of the audit, the document that we will need. We'll have the entrance meeting, have the meeting with the management, all the documents that we will need. During the field work also is usually interactive. Any document that we need, we will request. If it is submitted, we will flag it, we will record it. Exit meeting also, we will discuss about all the queries, the ones that are pending, that are just this, we will discuss about everything. And then when we go back, we will send a draft, give you the opportunity, and then finalize it. So if anything that is missing, that is in the report, it will not be a news to the auditees, because it's like we are all part of it. And if there is any disagreement, I think the management letter will show, their response will be able to show that. So because I can't just, I'm just a director, but I'm not even part of the audit, but I know the management letter, if there is any document, everything will be specified in the management letter. Then maybe with your this, I will just, if maybe management letter, I can confirm if these things has been, featured in the management letter as well.
The issue also will equally be captured in the management letter, as he rightly indicated. Then we will know what the position of the auditor to your response on the issue raised in the management letter. Honorable colleagues, any take on that before we proceed? I reserve until management letter. And the other issue that is highlighted is lack of accounting policies. The council did not disclose the accounting policies adopted for the treatment and recognition of revenue, expenditure, assets, receivable, and then liabilities. Can you take on that?
We use a cash-based accounting policy. So by looking at the statement, it's more of cash-based. It's not accrual-based. Thank you very much.
Chair. Yes, I think what is referring to, like, you know, which policy actually are you using to determine that? Because, for example, now you are the director of finance, and let's say maybe tomorrow they move you to another institution and somebody has to come in. What would you tell him? What kind of policy do you actually have in place that would determine the kind of accounting policy you use? How do you recognize this revenue? If it is expenditure, so how do you recognize, or how do you record those things? I think this is the kind of policy that they're asking for. Yeah.
Thank you very much. In cash-based accounting, revenue is recognized when you receive. Yeah. Expenditure also is recognized when you make payments. And we use our, we have a audit and finance manual that guides us to prepare these accounts. Thank you.
Any issue on that? Now we move on to the third issue, that is the lack of comparative figures. The financial statements were without comparative figures, and no disclosure was provided as to why there were no comparative figures. What's your take on that?
Thank you very much. My response to that, yeah, that was observed during the draft audit report, but we send them the comparative figures. Like in 2019, we provide them with 2018 also, so that they can compare so that one can compare the figures. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, maybe we just need to get the auditors to also confirm, because if you say that there are no comparative figures previously and they provide, so I don't know exactly what they're trying to, Yes.
Yeah, thank you. The accounts are not prepared by the auditors. They are prepared by the management. That's why if you look at it on page 11, we don't insert the figures. What you give into, I think it's just the formatting. We only do the formatting or whatever. It's the responsibility of the management to prepare the account with the comparative figures and give it to the auditors. That's what we will just input it in our report, and then they sign to say this is what we've provided, and then that is it. So I'm not aware, maybe if they are provided, is it that they are provided to auditor for them to insert it? Oh, okay.
Thank you. Okay, I think when this was observed, okay, we sent this through even soft copy to one of your auditors. Yeah. We thought this will be provided in this final report. So I will just refer to the presentation records where you made mention of you received some of these documents, but they were late. I can quite agree with that. Thank you.
Okay, maybe we will get into that, but what is clear is the auditors doesn't have any responsibility for you to send them this or for them to insert your accounts as compared. That is purely the responsibility of the management to make sure that whatever, even if auditors brought it out, it's your responsibility to insert it and then send it to them. And then before the finalization of this report, the management, that's why they will sign, because the auditor, even I myself, will not sign this report without being signed by the director, by the management of Kuntaur area. That means to say we have confirmed, and then this is what we have provided before the auditors can append their signature.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
Kuntaur Area Council, when was this report actually sent to the auditors, that you claim that it may be late or so? When exactly did you sign it?
Yeah, thank you very much. I cannot fully remember the date, but actually it was sent through soft copies. We were providing email address that we send these documents. Thank you.
But don't you think it was too late?
Well, it could be late. Because, yeah, it could be late because the director of finance at that time was going to school. So I think there was a capacity issue. Thank you.
Yeah, but despite the director of finance was going to school, but the director of finance must have his or her assistant in office. So it doesn't actually mean that when the director of finance is not in office, then it means nothing works. Then you have to wait for him until when he's back. Is that the case?
I agree.
Mr. Chair.
That was enough time
Yes.
Want to come in. I agree with what has been said. Sending the observation to the audit office was late. I could remember we traveled to Kenya. I received an email from Ismail reminding us sending this required list. So I agree that it was late, and we apologize for that.
The next issue is pertaining to the trial balance. There is no trial balance for 2019 and even 2020.
Thank you very much, Kia. That trial balance was provided to them. Yeah, in a form of this quick.
Thank you very much. It was an issue too. The trial balance was an issue. I could remember on 2 occasions while they were there, they have been asking for the trial balance. We had it very difficult to provide it. This was because the finance director was on studies. The CEO was new, and the other staff were not very conversant with this trial balance. But I could remember the team and the internal auditor were doing utmost everything possible to make sure that the trial balance was provided on time. It was a challenge.
Had it been provided?
It was provided, but very late, and we don't know whether what we provided was exactly what they needed. Yeah.
It was not available.
Yeah.
That was the issue.
Okay.
If you say it was, yeah, auditor on the company?
Yes, management letter, page 51. And then maybe let me just make this clarification. Our National Audit Office, I will repeat this, most of the time, why our reports are always, late, coming out late, it will take us longer before we finalize, because we are always accommodating. Even the final day, if you provide a report for us that we think can enhance your account, we always incorporate it there. And then before the CEO and before the management of council sign the report, if they provide any documentation, we will make sure that it is considered. And we will not sign any report without it being signed by them. So meaning, they are the one to conclude the audit, to have their financial, it is completed, we are okay with it, they sign, and then before we sign and then conclude the audit. For the trial balance, if you go to page 51, it's in the management letter, their response is there, so maybe I don't know whether you, for clarity, or you will wait until when we get it.
Read the management letter.
Yeah, it's a non-preparation of trial balance, finding, this page 51. The area council did not provide trial balance for the year 2019 and 2020 as required by the above regulation. The management response, they said management has written to the Director of Finance to prepare a complete trial balance for the year for submission and review. Auditors further comment, recommendation not implemented since no trial balance for the year 2019 and 2020 were provided for inspection. Their response was they will write. Management has written, they wrote to the Finance Director to provide it. And then the auditors are saying it's still final because we haven't received any trial balance up to the time of finalizing this report. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will reserve that then. You can buttress on the issue when we read the management letter. Stay. On the same issue? Let's hold on that until when we get to management letter. Okay.
No, I just wanted to know at what point they are at the moment, because I can see they given an excuse of
the management letter response. When they give that, then you can ask that question.
Okay,
what point they
that's
are.
fine. Yeah, that's okay.
I think will help us.
Yeah.
The other issue is pertaining to the submission of the balance sheet. 2019 is reflective in the report, but is lacking in the 2020. what was responsible for that?
Thank you. 2020 trial, balance sheet was not prepared.
Why?
Yeah, I think we have a technical problem because, as my boss said, I was going to school, so I was not staying in the office. So I think that was the problem.
We also note that for both 19 and 20, the opening balances has not been indicated. Whether you observe that, and if so, why?
Yeah, they were provided. If you look at the balance sheet for 2019, yeah, the cash and bank are the opening balances.
On the balance sheet?
Balance sheet.
The cash and? Okay.
Huh.
Okay. So it was, it is the balance sheet that is missing in
2020, yeah.
Okay. Honorable colleagues, I think we can straight go to management later. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a, the presenting of records. I think this one we need to clarify very, very well. Because when an auditor goes to an institution to audit, it's not like they have all the time in the world. They are also, constrained by time because they have to audit other institutions as well. So when they come to do the audits, because it's the responsibility of the auditee to prepare those accounts, and then they come and inspect and form an opinion on those things. So if there's a query on anything relating to the accounts, they have a timeline on which they need to get a response, otherwise they will write whatever it is, even though you may have the records right. So if an auditor sends you a query, you said, we need to have A, B, C, and D, and E, and then you wait for like months, 3, 4 months, or 5 months, and they need to conclude, because we are also on their neck, that they need to provide, because according to the Public Finance Act in the Constitution, you read all of them, they said after 3 months of the new year, you need to provide, everybody. There's no exception except in the central government where it has to go up to 6 months, June, which is understandable because all the councils, they have to be captured in the central government one. So I think the issue of, presenting those records, delaying those things actually is affecting not only but many of the councils. And I think you need to take care of that to ensure that when they make a query, you respond on time so that they can prepare the records and send to us. Otherwise, they can only send us what they have. Even though you may have the correct things with you, but at the material time of them making the reports, they don't have it. So they can only present on what they have. So I think we need to improve on the particular area. Thank you.
So, who is the internal auditor? So how often do you do your internal auditing of the council? And who do you report to? Do you have a local government accounts committee that will report to the general council as well?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, and all distinguished guests here present. As an internal auditor, our mandate is to ensure that internal controls are effective and efficient. So therefore, we prepare quarterly internal audit report and we forward it to the General Council for reviews. And such copies are forwarded to the National Audit equally.
Do you have a accounts committee at the council? And if that was the case, why was it so difficult to provide the documents the auditors requested for?
Normally, the councils, we have a committee, that is the finance committee. And that finance committee is responsible for reporting to the General Council, of which the internal auditor have provided such reports in his findings and was presented to the General Council.
Sir, okay.
want to be clear on this. You said you have a finance committee. I think what the honorable member want to know whether you have an audit committee, because I don't think the finance committee can equally perform oversight audit functions. So I think the best, what he's trying to know, what he want to know is about whether the council, you have an audit committee, because that one also is equally very important. And also, I want to know whether before the national audit come for any auditing, do they normally send you letter to notify you in advance or not? Thank you.
Basically, the council, we have a finance subcommittee. And the finance subcommittee, I think part of our audit observations were that the council should be equipped with an audit committee. But that was not forthcoming. So your next question too is, whenever the audit wants to inspect the councils, they always write to the councils and they inform them in time. And all the documentations that are required for the councils to be audited are always included in their letter and provided by the council.
Okay.
Yes, Chair. On this audit subcommittee, I think he's saying that it is not forthcoming. And we need to understand exactly what he meant by that. It's not forthcoming. Is it that the committee was not formed? Huh? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist? Yes. So whose responsibility is to ensure that there's an audit subcommittee? Whose responsibility is that? The General Council? Yes.
Thank you very much. According to the Local Government Act, the audit committee is not part of it. We have 3 committees. That is the Finance Committee, the Development Committee, and the Establishment Committee. Thank you.
Yeah, but according to the Local Government Finance and Audit Act, Section 24, it states that there shall be a Local Government Accounts Committee. That's the committee that I am talking about. The internal auditor should be furnishing them with the quarterly internal audit reports. And that committee will be presenting that to the General Council. And it seems like in most of the councils, there is an absence of this accounts committee. There are so many committees that needs to be established in the local governments. So this is what we are saying. Do you have a local government accounts committee?
Thank you very much. Anyway, for Kuntaur Area Council, we don't have. Yeah.
Is it because you don't know, or what could be the cause of that?
Yeah, for say, might be, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know, definitely. And definitely for financial and for capacity reasons, that's why we could not even establish most of our committees on the ground. For example, the Finance Committee, as you can see, is 3 people that are within that committee. The Development Committee, the same. So we have some capacity gaps. That's why we could not, and some financial constraints too, because sometimes you facilitate their movement, paying their allowances and so forth, and there are other priorities that we need on that.
This is a dictate of the local government finance manual, section 24. It reads, there shall be in each local government area a local government accounts committee comprising of such members of the council and other persons as the council may determine.
All right.
So, which instrument do you use as a tool to govern the council?
We use
because when you were sworn in, you are told that the Local Government Act and the Finance and Audit Manual is your Bible and your Quran. Do you read it periodically?
Yes, for the Local Government Act is my Bible. definitely. But the Finance and Audit Act, definitely I'm not familiar with it. But the Local Government Act, I can tell you that I'm very familiar with it. And we know exactly what is in it. But the Finance and Audit Act, maybe we are not familiar with it. And even if we read it, it's not daily. But I'm assuring you we will raise a committee from here that will guide us in terms of accounting and other issues.
Can we proceed? Go.
Yeah, it's on a different area actually, on page 14, 15, and 16 of the notes to the account.
Notes to the
Account. If you look at page 14. Huh?
not yet.
No, we are not doing remaining yet, yeah.
Okay, notes.
Yeah, on 14, you see note 8, right? 14, you see that?
Yes, can you?
Yes, if you look at note 8, it's talking about salaries, allowances, fuel station or whatever. So the chairman salary is showing 90,000, all right? Then if you go to page 15, the note 9, salaries, chief executive officer, CEO, 134,500. Then you continue on page 16, note 10, director of finance, salary, 129,960 with other allowances. I just want to find out, it seems to me, maybe the CEO can confirm, that the CEO, the director of finance, they all earn more than the chairman of the council. Is that correct?
Thank you very much. At the time of preparing this document, the salary for the chairperson was higher than that of the CEO, because the chairperson was based on allowance. That the allowance is calculated by 12, but the other allowance, like the telephone, the responsibilities, are not added to this 90,000. But normally the chairperson's salary was higher than that of the CEO until at the time of the 30% increment.
So right now, as we speak, are you saying that that actually is reversed? The CEO and then they are earning more than the chairperson now, or what's the situation right now?
Very slightly, very, very slightly. They are just almost at par, given the 30% increment, because the CEO was at 13,500 and the chairperson was at 10,000 fixed. So 30% of that 10,000 is 3,000, and 30% of that 13.5 also give a very close push to that salary of the chairperson. But the chairperson's salary was bigger. The net salary of the chairperson was higher than that of the CEO.
But what's the situation now? What's the situation now?
As of now, I think it's almost the same. They are almost the same. I have to confirm and get back to you.
Okay, because it seems abnormal to me that the chairperson would earn less than the rest of the council. I don't know. But anyway, you can just confirm.
Yeah, we'll confirm.
Yeah.
The chairperson is entitled to salaries?
Yes, chairperson are entitled to salaries.
Yes.
Their salaries are determined by the minister. It's not us. They send us their salary and we implement. CEOs also, their salaries are determined by the local government service commission. Yeah, thank you.
How about the vice?
No, vice is just like councillor. He receives what the councillors receive, but the difference is the responsibility allowances. Right now they have $380,000 responsibility allowances.
They receive allowance, not salary.
Yeah, they receive allowances, not salaries. Yes.
What is here? So sorry. If you look at that particular note that Honorable Mbo is referring to, they have the chairman, vice chairperson, and councillors. Their respective amounts indicated. What category are those amounts for the case of vice chair and councillors? Because I made to understand you said the chairpersons have salary, but if under the same category, do we say that that's for the salary for the salaries for the vice chair and the councillors?
Well, the councillors' allowances is exclusive of the chair, the vice chair. The vice chair stand alone $36,000. This is how we prepare our accounts.
No, what I'm trying to, I just want to be clear. Where here, this stage, where we have chairman, vice chair, and councillors, those figures represent the salaries for all of them, or salary for chairman and then?
No, on the chairman's, the salary is 90,000. Vice is 36,000. That means every month $4,000.
That's for salary?
Yes, no, allowances.
Oh,
Vice is on allowances, fixed allowances.
Okay.
Only chairman is on salaries. So all other councillors
on allowance?
Yeah, all other councillors are on fixed allowances of $4,000.
Yes. Now, if you come further down, after the subtotal, where you have the responsibility allowance, who are the beneficiaries of that?
Yeah, chairman and the vice.
Chairman and the?
Vice.
Vice, not the councillors?
No, not the councillors.
Only chairman and vice?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yes, Chair. Maybe we need to be clear here. So the figure you see on the councillors here is 396,000. These are allowances.
Right, these are allowances.
So what's the name of the allowance?
We call it sitting allowances.
So why isn't it shown here called sitting allowance? Because if you look at it the way it is on note 8, personally I assume that the chairman, vice chairman, these are all salaries. But if they are an allowance, I think it should be, named so. Like sitting allowance for councillors, then they call 396,000. Because the way it is right now on the note, if somebody looks at it, you're going to think that this is actually all his salary.
That's true.
If you understand what I'm saying.
I agree.
Yeah, maybe we should need to put it down. And
I agree. I agree.
Okay. That's,
yeah.
I observed he has a very sharp voice.
I Yes, Director, I just want, is about the councillors.
Okay.
Apart from their monthly salary, do you have any other allowances? Do you have any other allowances for them in terms of their responsibility allowance or telephone or whatever, just to be very clear?
If you look at the statement, they have committee allowances. Only chairman benefit the telephone allowances. Okay, they also have ward allowances and transport allowances. These are the allowances they enjoy.
Yes, Chair. Regarding the salary of the chairperson, the Act is saying that it should be determined by an Act of National Assembly.
Yes, Chairperson.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable. We as chairpersons, we have different salaries. I think it is high time for the National Assembly to come up with a unified salary. The mayor and the chairpersons differ. The chairpersons in their respective regions, they differ. I think the National Assembly or the committee should look into this and come up at least with a level playing ground salary or allowance for all of us. We did the same responsibilities. We did the same thing across. So whatever the mayor is doing, that's what we are doing at regional level. So definitely we want you people to come to our aid, and also to the councillors. It's the same. The councillor in KMC and the councillor in Kuntaur is far different. I think, Mr. Chair.
I think that recommendation can be made by the various council to the ministry. I was discussing with Honorable Jame yesterday.
Okay.
Where it involved costs. A member cannot put a private member bill to address that. Yeah. It's only the government bill that can address. So you can push that to the ministry. I'm sure they are working on the Local Government Act, so that that can be put into consideration. I intend to do it, but I was advised that a private member bill cannot go with cost.
Definitely.
Yeah, that is obviously, we feel how councillors are undergoing,
Definitely.
that they should be entitled to salary, but we don't have the legal muscle to do that.
Definitely.
Maybe the government. Yeah.
I think he's correct. In terms of coming up with a law that would charge on the consular revenue fund. But we can also put a recommendation as part of our general recommendations when we are done with everything to highlight it to the ministry as a recommendation for them to take a look at it. Because again, if you are a teacher in CRR or UR or whatever, based on the grade you have, it's the same thing. Regardless of the area you are in.
Definitely. Except
if you are paid hardship allowance, whatever it is. And I think it's important. If you are a police officer, it's the same thing. If you are an army officer, also whether you serve in Basse or Bansang or whatever it is, it's still the same thing. Maybe we can put a recommendation for them to take a look at it, just that when they are reviewing the act itself, then that should be taken into consideration. Thank you.
Or not, okay. Okay, with note 8.
This is on page 11.
Okay.
With salaries for there's an areas of 100,000. There was an areas of $100,000 for Mamsed Jallo.
That's
page 15. That's what I meant. That's what I said.
note,
Page 15.
Note 8.
Oh really? Oh, it's page 15.
Note 9.
Yeah, page 15. In the list, we have Mamsed Jallo areas of salaries, $100,000. I would like to know why these areas and what was the reason of these areas amounted to $100,000 to this Mamsed Jallo. Can you explain?
Mr. Jallo was one time CEO. He was wrongfully dismissed, and the matter was taken to court, and he won. Then the court instructed us to pay. That was the reason. Thank you.
That was court order.
How about the other two? You have Jobate and,
Babke Jobate.
Jobate thing, the same thing applies. He was wrongfully dismissed according to the court. They won their case, then they asked council to pay the areas, salary areas.
There is okay. Responsibility allowance is also reflective under note 9 below the subtotal. Who are the beneficiaries of that?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The responsibility allowance under Note 9 goes to the CEO.
Well, I was told in Note 7 or 8, where you have the responsibility allowance of 78,000, the beneficiaries are CEO,
Chair and the Vice.
And Vice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
Thank you.
In note 9, there is, on the house rent, there is telephone allowances amounting to $12,000. Is it, this telephone allowance, is it only for the council, is it only for the chairman or the CEO, or who?
Thank you very much. This allowance is only for CEO. Yeah.
Okay, I need some clarification here. I've seen 100,000 to Local Government Service Commission. Can you clarify that?
Thank you very much. In those days, council is charged to pay Local Government Service Commission until government took up the responsibility. Thank you.
Which days? Can you be specific?
Yeah, in 2019. Yeah, around that. Thank you.
Chair? He's just stated that the telephone allowance of $12,000 is for the CEO. And again, I'm seeing a postage and telephone allowance of $35,000. Still on a note 9. Is that also for the CEO, as you said?
No, the $35,000 is, was a mobile, the cost of mobiles for senior staffs.
No, you mean
Yeah.
on a note 9, you said all these allowances are for the CEO. So this fall on the same note 9, both the telephone allowance and the postage and telephone allowance also.
Yeah, the last, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is the cost of telephone for senior staffs of the council.
But I think it should have...
It's a one-off payment. It's not a fixed allowances. It's a one-off payment. We bought a telephone for our senior staffs.
I think it should have indicated that way for different purposes.
Thank you very much. It's noted.
Can we proceed? Let's go to the management later. On the, let's, yeah, page 43, the executive summary, to begin with, the auditor noted bunch of receipt books that's on suspected fraud, bearing the letterhead of a regular vendor, Jar Oil Company, were in custody of and used as supporting documents for transactions that refer to, can be reflective in paragraph, under paragraph 3.1. Then the doubtful of the payment, the auditor noted that some payments were without evidence of activity or adequate supporting documents to authenticate them. And these are reflective in paragraph 3. If you go to paragraph 3 of the management letter, page 46, the findings noted that the bunch of receipt books bearing the letterhead of a regular vendor, Jar Oil, were found at the office that used to house the former CEO and used as supporting documents for several doubtful payments. The reason for keeping the receipt books at council was not provided by the current management, and the former CEO could not be reached for his comments. The council's internal audit report covering the scope, September 2019 and 2020 report the issue, but we found no evidence of the management response and/or action by those charged with the governance, that's the general council. And the audit recommended that the management should investigate the usage of these receipts and supporting documents to authenticate the genuineness of the transaction and take remedial actions against the officer or officers concerned. What's your take on that?
Thank you. I want to read from the management response.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Although the council, page 47. Although the council had acknowledged your findings as per query, but management needs to consult the former CEO for his comments before taking necessary action as per your recommendations. Action to be taken. A team has been set up by the General Counsel to look into the matter of the suspected fraud. Furthermore, a letter has been sent to the former CEO for his comments on the audit observation. Thank you.
Now, when you did so, what was his response?
Still, we did not receive an official letter from the former CEO stating or replying to that letter.
When did you write to him or her?
This was around March, April 2020.
2020?
Something like 2022.
Oh,
yeah.
2020.
Yeah, we wrote to him last year.
That's roughly getting to 1 year now.
Yeah.
And you've not heard from him. Did you make any follow-up?
Not.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. When we realized this thing, I personally called him about the issue. And definitely, even before the auditors came, our internal audit findings show us that these are the things that is on the ground. And we definitely contact him, but still now we did not have a correspond from him, neither a reply. That's the stage.
Yes, Honorable.
This was since 2020, right? Oh, 2022, right? Almost 1 year. And why was it so personal that you had to call him and contact him for this issue? And then since then, there is yet to be a reply, a response from him. And was there any legal action that you plan to take against him?
Thank you very much. Why I called him personally, because it is something that we need an urgent action. Just to follow up by the letter. After sending him a letter, I said it is my duty as the head of the council to call him, to tell him about the issue, how serious it is, and how we are ready to get a reply from him. And definitely, with or without coming here, we will proceed with legal actions if he don't reply. For sure.
Which council is he working right now?
He is retired.
Or retired?
He is retired, yeah.
Okay.
So when do you intend to do that legal action?
Yes, we are even, I have a discussion with the internal audit. Even if from here, we will call for an emergency management meeting because we realize that we are still paying him his retirement. If he is not ready to reply us, we can just discuss at management level and see how best we can recover this sum through his payments that we are doing.
Do you know the total amount?
There's only like
no, there is for sure there is no specific amount to be specific.
No, they only want you to investigate. You're supposed to investigate to verify those purported receipts.
Yeah. You know,
if there is any foul play, then the investigation report will recommend what action should be.
That's why we set up that team to look into it.
So that team should work on to investigate.
Yes, definitely. Effect from here, we will fast track it, inshallah, to give a report back to the National Assembly.
Okay.
Chair?
Sorry.
Yes. For me, actually, I was going to look at it in a different direction. I think the Auditor General also need to step in because I think they have all the laws, all the powers within the Constitution, because this is a case of suspected fraud. So I think the Auditor General should take it up forward and do the investigation themselves, because it's going to be difficult for them to investigate themselves because they still have staff that are in there. So I think there could be some compromise. I think the issue should be taken up by the Auditor General himself and investigate to come to a conclusion and then report. But if you want to get them to investigate on their own, I don't think you'll have justice to do that, investigate on your own. So, but the Auditor General, using the powers that are given under Section 160 of the Constitution, should take up that responsibility to investigate and come up with a conclusion for the committee, not the council themselves.
Yeah. 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 And if yeah, and the auditors further comment, maybe also the auditors further comment, below the management letter, it said no evidence such as General Council meeting minutes on the matter and the letter sent to the former CEO were provided. This just to say maybe if a letter was sent to him or there was a council meeting, you provide these things to the auditors, then that will be able to provide, but there was no of such evidence. And then investigation, some of this in the Auditor General, maybe it might be there. I know this has to do with our surcharge issues, but usually we have a reporting responsibility. We don't investigate because that is another level. It's true that when there is suspected fraud, mostly we copy the IGP so that they can go and then do the investigation when there is suspected fraud. You're right in that, but normally the Auditor General's office himself doesn't conduct the investigation. Yeah.
No, that is correct. But you could be the main material witness for the police, because the police cannot just go in there and just, So I think they also have a responsibility to ensure that they alert the Inspector General of Police, since the council themselves, what they're supposed to do, have not done. So this is a suspected case of fraud. So you cannot say at this material time that it's fraud, but there's some suspicion. So I think they need to alert the IGP, and maybe you work together to do the investigation. But them investigating themselves, I think I don't think that's
Again, if you look at it, I think the audit also, what we are doing is still in line with the standards. If you follow as auditors, if there is any suspected fraud, you channel it, you report it to those charged with governance. That is why in this report, the chairman is copied. Yeah. He is the one charged with governance. Yeah. If it's, and then reporting it to the National Assembly as well, because the Auditor General is reporting to the National Assembly. It is still in line. If you report it to those charged with governance, and then the matter is also escalated, because the Auditor General reports to the National Assembly, and then now they can assign what is still in line as far as the Auditor General is concerned. Yeah.
Well, what he's trying to say the other way also, if there is a need for certain cases for Auditor General to come in and then report directly to the police, like cases of fraud of certain nature, for them to investigate rather than institution mount investigation on their own, like the delay of this nature that happens. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, in fact, the Auditor General doesn't report to the police, you copy. You copy them. So that means you don't even have that direct reporting line with the Inspector General, because these are institutions. Auditing, yes, you can have the constitution, but the standards, and then you are guided by the standards. You have the way you should report. All these things are, are defined by the standard. Because even if you report to the police, that wouldn't still prevent you from reporting to those charged with governance. So that's why the management, because the chairperson is not part of the management. It's not part of the management. They have an oversight function over the management. So that's why they said if those involved are part of the management, then you report it to those charged with governance. So it's still in line. I get your point. And then again, yes, we still have a responsibility if they are supposed to copy the Inspector General of Police. We haven't done that, but we haven't done that. But again, I think this National Assembly can still,
No.
Okay.
Chair, I think the issue here is not about copying, but it's about reporting the matter, because the section is very clear. Subsection 5 is saying whenever discrepancies of a criminal or fraudulent nature are discovered during the audit of accounts by the Auditor General, he or she shall immediately cause a report of his or her findings to be submitted to the Inspector General of Police. I think the Constitution is very clear on that. So there is nothing like copying, but it's a matter of reporting. Then they will set up whatever investigation team they need to set up, using you as a witness, whatever, to guide them, whatever it is. But I think the right thing to do, as per the Constitution, is that you need to report that case of fraudulent activity, and they investigate. So I think that's what it says. So it doesn't say actually you report to the management, whatever. No. Management, of course, they would have seen it, because before the accounts are signed, you have highlighted that they've seen, they've known. So if they're taking another step to investigate on their own and to bring the culprit to book, fine. But your responsibility at this stage is to ensure that that's actually reported to the IG. And then the IG will take it from there, and the Parliament also can take it from there as well.
That's noted. I think I'm also bringing the standards as well, but that's noted, and it's in the Constitution. We will definitely.
Yeah. Honorable Chair,
Yes, can the Kuntaur Council or the chairman or the officer responsible, can you also provide us with the copy of the letter that you summoned him for a meeting, and then also the minutes of that particular meeting? And also, I would like to know how often or how frequent do you engage him for him to come and answer in order to solve this problem? And he refused to come.
All right. Concerning the minutes for the General Council, of course, this was discussed at General Councils. Sometimes the typing is our problem, but the minutes of 2018, 2019, and even concerning this particular issue, it was recorded for sure. I don't know why it was not presented before the auditors, but we have minutes for every meetings. Yes, concerning the letter, maybe CEO will yeah.
Chair, can they provide us that record, since they have that as an evidence? That's the only evidence they have, as I said.
The letter that was written to him, I can provide a copy of that letter. Okay. In fact, when I was preparing to come to answer, I thought I came with them. Yeah, so I could have even bring it today.
Okay, then let's proceed.
Yeah, just one, a quick one. You said you discussed that at the General Council. What was the resolution passed concerning about this issue?
Yes, what we agreed was to provide a letter to former CEO. Yes, provide a letter to the former CEO to inform him about what happened. And what we directed asking for him explanation.
But when did you detect, or when do you realize that there was a fraud before the auditor's report, or detecting it?
Our internal auditor detected when the former CEO left. You know, he got retired, and we employed another one. So the moment he left, that's the time the internal auditor was doing his exercise, quarterly exercise, and he revealed it. And when the Auditor General came also, they found it on the ground.
Was there any measured action when the internal auditor detected it?
Yes.
Before the Auditor General?
Yeah, the action that we took is to write a letter and inform the former CEO about it. That's the only thing that we did.
Yeah, just provide us with the copy of that letter from the beginning.
Thank you.
When the former CEO retired, didn't he do a handing over? Was it not proper for him to do a handing over?
That's a must, and he did. He did and handed over, and it was signed by both the outgoing and the incoming CEO, and the records are there.
Where were these receipt books found? Were they found in his office?
The receipt books, maybe the internal auditor can give an answer to that. Yeah.
He's here.
Honorable Chairman, to answer to that question, we as internal auditors, we do not only rely on documents. Sometimes we further go on to search for the reality of that payment. During our audit exercise, we found out that there were some payments that were made by the council to the chief executive officers. And duplicates of those payments were attached to the payment vouchers, of which we found it necessary to reveal whether it was authentic or not. Therefore, we further went into look into those details, of which we found a bunch of receipt books in the CEO's office, of which those transactions were used for. And that was reported to the General Council through our internal audit report.
Okay. Then you can pursue with the investigation. I think that's the bottom line. All right, Chairman? Yes. Yeah. Then let's proceed. Yeah. Pardon? When they do
Yes.
the investigation report.
Yes, you can give us a a time frame.
Time frame, okay.
Yeah, so that we can report for sure. Yeah,
Your term is ending May,
May for sure.
precisely 2020, is it 28?
May 20.
May
yes.
28,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
Then 30th April.
That's it. Not it for me. Right. For sure. 30th April.
That's too far.
That time, they will be busy with their campaign and stuff like that. In fact, Honorable Chairman,
Yes.
what we want to say here, you know, some of these issues, before you even come here,
Yeah.
I think you should just take your legal action against these people, because against the individual we're talking about. So, you know, normally we are here to work together, but notwithstanding, we don't want you to be coming here and there are certain issues that you should take as a leader.
Yeah.
You don't take it, you come here, you start giving us timeline and whatever. These are things that you don't have to wait. This is why, you know, we all have to be proactive. Because right now, we don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Definitely.
Huh? And just to write a letter to inform him, for you to expect response from him, I don't think that's the issue. Council resolution should be passed to ensure that, you know, at least there is an investigation team set up by any other relevant body that can do this thing for you. Please, thank you.
I think we leave as it is for them to investigate. The outcome of the investigation will dictate as what action is supposed to be taken, whether it is for council to make sure they prosecute the culprit or otherwise. Well, what is important, the report will be submitted to us. But what is going to be entailed in the report, for any action to be taken by them, that will be dictated by the report. Then for us to get the report to confirm that they have investigated the matter, we would like to get the copy of the report that can also form part of our report. Yes.
I suggest we give them a very short time, for example, 1 week, because what if, sorry, I'm coming. What if the guy responsible traveled decided to go out of town, out of country? What else can we do now?
Well, we even though
this is taxpayers' money.
That will not warrant us to give them short time, because obviously this is very technical. To investigate is technical. If you want to give them 1 week and you want them to do proper investigation, I don't think that is feasible. Yeah, we are talking of the time, but let's give a reasonable time.
Yeah.
I suggested end of April. Somebody said that is a bit far. Let's suggest some, but 1 week may not be very reasonable for them. Next month is March. Yeah, end of March, somebody suggesting that?
This thing happened in 2020, and a letter was written to the man, and he never responded. And as per the dictates of the Constitution, what it says, Section 100, subsection 5, powers of the Auditor General, I think we should go by that.
That is?
Huh?
That is?
Like what more, wherever discrepancies of a criminal or fraudulent nature are discovered during the audit of accounts by the Auditor General, he or she shall immediately cause a report of his or her finding to be submitted to the Inspector General of Police.
That is one thing. For auditor at their end to forward the report to the Inspector General. But we are saying, as recommended by the auditor, the council also should investigate, which is what they are not doing now. And that's what we are reminding them for them to do. We are just merely giving them the time for them to do. Yes, I understand 1 year they did not do, but now we are taking afresh for them to do. And for them to do, we need to give them reasonable time for them to do the investigation.
But Chair, they were not doing this for a period of 1 year, which I think was definitely quite enough. It was quite enough for them to do that investigation, but they failed to do. So to me, I don't think we should give them that full time again for any more investigation. They've not been investigating, or they were not investigating seriously for a period of 1 year. And to me, then we should not give them another like 1 month or more, to do the investigation again, because they may fail by investigating it again, the matter again.
We are discussing on the time.
That's what I mean. The time frame should not be long.
Somebody said April, somebody said March. Let's have those proposals.
Okay, April.
I choose us to finish on this.
Well, I'll suggest April then.
You say March. Yes. Any other proposal? March ending is okay? Huh?
The question is, how are they going to investigate? Do they have the authority to investigate?
Well, I think, Honorable,
But yeah, okay, because
they
it
are
seems
guided
like
by the auditor's report.
Yeah, and even
Yes.
that one, this, and I think there are many players here. To be honest, the key listing of the national audit is reporting. That's why our reports are also copied at even the ministry, which also has that oversight function. And then even as far as auditors are concerned, is suspected fraud. Normally the auditors doesn't even say fraud. They say so because we don't have the capacity to do the investigation. And then now the auditors, when it happened, yes, we have as part of our decision to copy the Inspector General of Police, and we haven't done that. But what that doesn't mean that we say we haven't done it. So now let's look at what are the possibilities. The investigation will not be done by them. You have body institutions responsible for the investigation. It's just a matter of forwarding or writing to those ones to carry out the investigation. Yeah.
that's not what the Constitution says. You have the powers. This is what it's saying.
The power to report, but not to investigate. We are not, or you have you have the fraud squad who conduct investigation. Auditors doesn't conduct investigation. It's a skill in its own. That's different from auditing. Yeah.
So now you are equally giving them that responsibility that you don't have. As a result, the Constitution is directing you to the authority that has the powers to do that investigation, which is the police.
Honorable Chair, may I just help? We are using the word investigate as, to me, it's just semantics here. What the auditors want, I think we need to at least understand how it goes. You go on track to, let's say, Kuntaur Area Council. You have to do 3 years within 1 week. 2 weeks maximum. Here you've touched just the surface. What the auditors are requesting is just for them to establish. Let's substitute the word investigate with any other word that we wish. What is just requested is just them to go further than what we have touched. We have just suspected that something is wrong. So now go deeper, extract every receipt that has jar oil and do some work. After doing that, let's just forget about the word investigation. Establish what the auditors are claiming is right or wrong. Okay, after doing that, okay, now come with your own report to say, okay, what you have suspected, we even suspect further. Now it goes to the right authority. There is a specific unit under the police that has the mandate to do fraud examination. They might even ask for our own expertise to say, can you help us in establishing this? That's exactly the word. So the word investigation should not be taken to be...
Yeah, I think this at plenary stage. Yeah. What they are saying, it is for the council to establish first whether there was that suspected fraud. Exactly. And if council can establish that, in fact, council is not the authority to say that yes, there was fraud. They can only say there is suspected fraud. And when they try to establish that further, that will be reported. When that is incorporated in our report, then that is going to be reported. Yeah. Either by the auditors or by our parliamentary report. For the fraud unit of police to investigate that fraud, even that one, police will be advised by justice that yes, there is a case of fraud for you to investigate. That's the procedure.
That's exactly what the internal auditor did, according to his explanation.
So that is not done. At their level, they are yet to do that.
That's what led to the discovery of these receipt books.
No, you have the receipt books. But what are they doing there? And for what for? And how did they come about? There should be an investigation to establish that. So this is the process that they are doing right now. Now that it has been brought our attention, whether it was not done more than one year or 1 year, then it was not brought to our attention. Now that it's brought our attention, we are starting from there. We are giving them up to maybe this time, we are saying end of March. Let them investigate whatever they establish, make a report of that, and then act on that report, and then also make sure we have a copy of that report. That should form part of our report. So let's agree on the deadline, end of March as proposed. Chairman?
Yes, thank you very much. We are just appealing for a deadline, and we will investigate before the deadline.
Okay.
And we will get back to you.
End of March?
That's fine.
That's okay?
That's fine with us.
Failure in doing so, what will be the position of the...
I think, no.
Okay.
We cannot be recommended. Yeah, end of March. I think we have a long way, and we have only 1 hour to go, please. Let's manage our time. Doubtful payments were queries also that were made or advanced by the auditors that certain payments were without evidence of activity or adequate supporting documents, such as development and repair works that were done. They found out that the council paid about 250,493.20 for repairs and works for various communities that were not carried out. And then a sample of the site visits revealed no evidence of work performed, and the village heads who all denied receiving support from the council corroborated this. That is one. And then the other one is about payment of areas to Jar Oil without proof at a tune of 200,000. The third one is contribution to monthly Lumo set settle. The auditor noted that contribution of $198,548 was paid for support in the form of fuel for Lumo set settle. However, residents at several Lumos visited indicated that no monthly set settles were conducted in their Lumos. The third one is pertaining to night allowance, or third one rather. The night allowance of 156,000 was paid to staff without evidence that training took place. There were no invitations, program schedule, and report after the completion of the program. There was also evidence that certain staff listed on the training, which was in a different region, were signing in for work on the same dates. So these are some of the doubtful payments that were queried by the auditor, and I would like the council to shed light on them.
Thank you very much, Chair. In our response to Jar Oil, that there was areas of fuel consumed, and this was not paid, and it was brought forward, and it was paid in this particular date, 15th December 2019, of 200,000. But the contribution, the monthly contribution set style and night allowances, the former CEO's responsibility to set light on. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, on this jar oil thing, I think there needs to be some kind of evidence to show that there was an area. You cannot just say there was an area of 200,000, you just went and pay. There must be some evidence coming from jar oil themselves to that effect. And I think whatever payment, when the payment was being done, that should have been attached to the payment voucher for verification. So can we have the evidence of this particular area with jar oil for 16 December 2019?
Okay, the evidence attached to the voucher was the receipt that Jao acknowledged the receipt of 200,000. But to have the areas, to know the areas, we have fuel register that shows all the records of fuel council took from Jao oil. It's from there, from that register, we will be able to know whether there's areas or not. Thank you.
Well, that's fine. Any evidence that would collaborate this item would be fine. Whether it was an invoice from Jar Oil or the receipts of those from Jar Oil will be fine. Because I know if you have your fuel register, Jar Oil would have given you guys something. They would not just say it's 200,000, so you go ahead and pay. They won't have given you something along those effects.
Chair?
Sorry, before you come in,
Yeah, and then secondly also, normally there needs to be, this particular item needs to be sent to GPPA also for procurement. So we'd like to also have those information as well, whether it was in this particular one, whether it was also sent to GPPA also, or, or not.
Thank you very much. We have a long-term memorandum of understanding with Jar Oil that they can supply council with fuel at the later time we pay if you have money. So that was a long time on our understanding, and GPP was informed, and they have been written to that effect. Thank you.
How about sorry, before you come in, the other, you only dealt with that of Jar Oil. How about development and repair works that were done? Sorry, no, I'm coming, yeah. Okay, she's saying that before you did not comment on the other ones. There are about 4. Well, she said she has a supplementary on Jar Oil.
Exactly. I just wanted to ask, was there any letter of request from Jar Oil that you need to settle this bill? If there is any letter with regards to this amount of $200,000, can you also attach it to the evidences that you need to submit?
Anyway, what I want to add to that is Kuntaur area council is being supported by Jar Oil. There is no fuel station in the entire region, and Jar Oil allowed us to take fuel for 2 months without paying him. The only thing we had with him is MOU, and the MOU determines how much we take per month. So what maybe we'll do, we'll try to get the evidence according to what he said, the fuel register and the MOU that determines what we're supposed to collect for that particular month. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if you go by the GPPA Act and the accompanying regulations, such will need to have a framework agreement which has to be approved by GPPA first. So just having an MOU between you and then the Jar Oil would not actually suffice. You need to have a framework agreement because you consistently go back to them to supply the same thing because maybe they are the only people that are there or not. So you need to have a framework agreement with them. So if you have that also, that would, because it needs to be approved by GPPA. You cannot just have MOU with Jar Oil and then just go like that, no.
GPA.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just wanted to, because I don't want to preempt the report because it's at the draft stage, but our auditors have flagged that issue for the procurement of fuel from Jar Oil, but it's at the draft stage, so I don't want to elaborate more on it. But I wanted to confirm whether there was a framework agreement between them and Jar Oil for this particular procurement.
Yes.
Yes, there was. That was a long-time arrangement. Yeah.
There was. Can you provide the committee with the agreement?
Okay, thank you, Chair. Just to collaborate what Honorable Mbow has said, normally for framework agreement, they should be subjected to prior review by the authority, that's GPPA. That's what our draft stage has just flagged. We just want to confirm. But any framework agreement must be subjected to prior review by the authority. And normally framework agreement are also time bound. It cannot be eternal. They are time bound. So I don't know how long are you talking about, but it cannot go beyond. Normally after 2 years, it must be renewed following satisfactory performance. So we just want to establish, because our report is at the draft stage at the moment. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry. Chairman, I want to react to that payment of payment by check.
Okay.
Yeah, this check was rightly quoted. The check number was rightly quoted. All the check numbers, all the checks have two numbers. No, the number quoted is the top number on the check. So on the bank statement, in this case, they have the bottom check number. I think that was the reason they could not trace. But I think we advanced this to them, that the check number quoted is the right check number, and it was on the top of the check. Thank you.
Yes, just to come back to the accounts again, because this is 2018. So, which means this needs to be captured in their outstanding pay to other institutions like GRA. Now, has this amount been captured anywhere in your accounts for 2019? Because since it's an area of 2018, they have to be captured somewhere in 2019 accounts. Was it captured anywhere here?
For 20, thank you very much. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Has I don't know how this subject specialist mentioned, it will be appropriated if we have the comparison figure. This will show us some areas in our bank balance sheet, but hence we could not have that. So it's going to be difficult. I agree with that. But this payment was, it has to be happen 2018. This is a cash-based, we are using cash-based method. We are not using accrual. So we could not pay in 2018, and we pay in 2019. Thank you.
I think the question is like, how do you handle that in your 2019 books?
Honorable Chair, with your permission, I just want to answer to what Honorable Mbao said. You are very right. It was not captured in 2019 because the liability in 2018 should be brought forward in 2019 and with a clear indication, and that was not done.
Okay, that's fine. The two questions. Do you have two different numbers on a check? It will be interesting. And the other question is, yes, cash basis. But what cash basis allows you to do is to list your assets and your liabilities.
Cool. Let me tell you.
Listed, the cash line balances, your loan
Thank you. I quite agree with you. But your second question, yes, the check has two numbers. They have different numbers.
Okay, all these around jar oil payments, how about the other three? The development and repair works that were denied by certain communities, likewise contribution to Lumo settles also, that were as well denied, and the issue of the night allowance.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. This was presented, the report was presented to the General Council, and the General Council recommended the CEO should be written to give an explanation of this. Yeah, the former CEO. As they said, yeah, in fact, during their audit, they established that certain communities gave a remark that certain work were not done, and we wrote to him, and until now, we still did not get the response. This was presented to the General Council around June or July. But the General Council instructed us to write to the former CEO to use that to provide to the National Audit Office. So that's why we could not have anything to provide to the National Audit Office. It came as a query, finalized. Then that's the time through the office of the chairman, they said they are going to take legal action. And that was around end of October this year. End of October this year, yeah. Last year, yeah.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Definitely, we were very surprised with this, and we have instructed the management to make sure that this thing is regularized. Because if you're talking about development and repair of works, which should come from us, just to our surprise, we have seen these things. So definitely, we have instructed the management to work very hard so that we can come to the bottom of this matter. Definitely, this is a surprise to us and to the General Council at large.
Yes. Honorable.
Thank you. I would like to know how are monies withdrawn from your votes? You know, this particular area of development must fall on a budget line, isn't it?
Yes.
And under which budget line was this monies withdrawn from? And what is the process of withdrawing money? Because I can see we are all saying, you know, we need the former CEO, and we all know that monies does not come out of council's vote just like that. You need to go through different departments, and they have to also minute it to the responsible authorities. So is this what is obtained in your area council?
Given the challenges that council faced in the past years, gave rise to the introduction of the IFMIS to make sure that these things are controlled. And also controlling the budget. Government, area council does not have a system at that time that said that this particular amount of money is kept in this system, and when it is exhausted, you cannot use it. All revenue collected are banked in one bank, and the errors are on this A4 paper. So it's very difficult. It used to be very difficult. There is no budget officer. There were a lot of challenges as we speak, to be very frank.
You don't understand.
No, I want to.
You know, before the end of September in every year,
yes,
all councils should prepare a budget.
And I understand. I agree.
Huh?
I agree.
And what is that budget?
It's a planned budget to be executed in the following year.
And you have budget lines.
Exactly.
For development.
Exactly.
Emoluments.
Exactly.
Other things. Huh? So I am saying this money must have come from one of those budget lines.
Okay.
And the CEO cannot just sit in his office, you understand, and approve something that is not requested for. Because I've heard you said in number 1 here about that Lumo thing. You said you cannot say anything because it was just the CEO who did everything. It doesn't work like that at council.
We agree.
If it is development, it has to come through planning and development, or maybe it was budgeted for. And it has to go through so many protocols before the CEO can finally endorse it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I just wanted to start with the challenges that we are faced. As a result of those challenges, this happened. But because of that, Minister of Finance and PFM stood on their feet to make sure that this is greatly minimized. The CEO was not advised by any budget officer to be very conscious of how he spent the budget. The CEO and the Director of Finance were challenged. As a result of that, a lot of things happened. You are right. Before anything is approved, must be taken, when it's development, must be taken to the development committee. They endorse and advise the CEO to make sure that the spending is done through the right way. We all agree. But we also promise you that we have seen the report. Restructuring has been done and improvement is on the way. Thank you.
I think there is also a need for this matter to be taken up to the Inspector General of Police as per their deliberation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
We concur with Honorable Cham.
Okay.
Definitely, we lack capacities in the previous years. Now we are building up. Councils doesn't just spend money like that. It has to go through channels. And this request, we are not done through my office. Sometimes the CEO has some activities that he does without a request from us as the council or the chairman. For example, this settles is purely. Yeah.
You know, the CEO alone cannot endorse a check. It has to go with the Director of Finance as well.
Yes.
So who was the Director of Finance?
That's the one sitting here.
Yeah. Can
So
he explain?
he was the Director of Finance.
That's
at
what
that
he's
time.
trying to establish.
Yes.
They agree with you that that's the procedure. Then the capacities were not there, but now that they are developing, I think those situations will now be a thing of the past.
Thing of the past, of course. So now any development that's to be done, it has to be approved by the development committee that sits on all the development that is to be approved. And at the end of the day, any development that is approved, it has to be under a budget line. And with the help of the IFMIS now, you cannot spend anything without a budget line. So
now I think one more because we proceed because we still have.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I quite agree with them that this will be a thing of a past. But then a thing of a past, then what will happen to this amount of money involved currently?
This amount of money involved, we are trying to reach to the CEO and the former CEO and the Director of Finance to help us to establish this issue. Because if you're talking about works that are done or repairs that are done at village level, and the village heads say they did not have any knowledge about this issue. So we are trying to establish the fact at council level with the help of our internal audit. For sure, with the time frame that we are given on the investigations of the Jawa receipts, we will able to come up with an update on this issue too.
So this additional thing, the earlier task that we give for you to do your investigation, and we gave you up to end of March on the suspected fraud.
Okay.
That has to do with the CEO's involvement.
Exactly.
Similarly, here is a case also where he is involved.
Exactly.
The same thing will apply.
Exactly.
Now, all that you're supposed to find out from him, make sure you do so within this time frame that we have given.
Thank you.
And they can all form part of your report.
Thank you.
Just a quick one.
Chair, for our records, I think it's important that he tell us the name of the CEO and the former director of finance for our own records. We need to have those names.
Yes. We can give you the names, of course.
Okay. CEO.
Honorable Chair, with your permission.
Yes.
I want to tell you that there was a time during the handing over. This was not recorded, but my honest opinion, what the CEO told me, was that there was a time they wanted to empower the councillors so that they can do something in their various wards. So they were giving councillors also money to make sure that they implement projects in their various wards. And I know some of them did not do those projects. He told me this, and he will repeat this when he is here.
Well, that should be something reported by the CEO, since it has been agreed here that you said you're supposed to consult the CEO for him to adequately respond.
I just want to say it because he was advising me to so I just want to take that.
That will not be of that will not be very useful here. Yeah, that will not be useful here. I think let's just stop there. You should also follow it up with him. Whatever happens, let him give you a tangible explanation, and then you report to us. Yes, the question that was posed regarding
the names,
the names of the CEO and then the former finance director.
The former CEO was Pa Ansu Dabo. Pa Ansu Dabo. Director, can you help us? He's in Sukuta. Yes. Yeah, he's in Sukuta, yes. The former director of finance is the current director of finance. This is the same, Moro Keta. Moro Keta, that's the current finance director.
Okay, Moro Keta.
Yes.
Chairman.
Then there's no former. It's only director of finance.
Yes, there is no former now. It's the former CEO and the current director of finance.
Director of finance, okay.
Yes.
Chair.
Yes.
In fact, about this issue,
yes,
I don't think you need further investigation, because the CEO cannot implement a project in those villages without the consent of the councillors. So you can just engage your councillors whether they did the work or not, because that has to be established. So with regards to the, there is nothing that we should hide here, because tomorrow it may haunt you. Let's just be clear. If at all it was given to councillors and they don't implement it, still we will do the investigation to ensure that at least what was given to them, they should know that it should be implemented.
Yes,
Thank you.
Chairman.
Yes, to answer your question about whether the councillors were contacted, of course, they were contacted. And these projects, as per se, they are not aware of their implementations. Yeah,
I think this is what the auditors are saying.
But now, my question is, how do you intend to conduct this investigation? For it to have authority, they need to establish a committee at the council level.
I think, Honorable Cham, sorry, please. Time is not on our side. It is not for us to set the team for them to investigate. Yeah, what we are after, let them find out and report to us. Just, we need clarification. If there are cases, the report will entail that. Then what will be the further action? then it is for the committee to decide, and then the council at their end, they can also act. Yes?
Thank you very much, Chair. Hence, you need clarification. I was the finance manager. About these transactions, they were done at collection centers. None of them except Garwell, where the check was written, and I signed that check. But all these transactions were done at the collection center between CEO and the collectors. Thank you very much.
If you do your internal findings, all that we are able to gather, you can put it in your report. All that we want to know, to give us explanation of these queries that were advanced by the auditors. Okay? Can we proceed? The same time frame, end of March. These financial issues, I think we dealt with this issue of balance sheet. We don't need to. Page 50. Yes, that was part of it. They are all the queries that we talk about. Yeah. They are all part of it. And then non-preparation of trial balance here, we talk about that? Mm-hmm. Did we?
Yes.
Huh? Lack of clear financial reporting framework. That was also shortcomings in your reporting. Lack of accounting policies also. Lack of comparative figures also. Inconsistency in notes numbering. Okay, you can work on that. Unpresented bank reconciliation statements. Can also work on that. Payment without payment vouchers. That is also an issue. I think that issue, if not comment on that.
Yeah, I want to comment on that. Thank you very much for giving me floor again. Well, we know 3 payment vouchers. That's the receipt payment vouchers, audit payment vouchers, and payroll payment vouchers. Here, these are salaries. Normally what we do, we just print the salary at the end of the month from our computer, the total net we pay. We don't we don't attack the other voucher as they were acquiring. Because we know that that itself, the payroll itself can serve as a payment voucher. That's our stand. Thank you.
Chair, I think he knows it better. That is not a payment voucher. You know, I mean, the salary really is just a comprehensive list of the payments you are making to those people. The payment voucher is very different from that. The payment voucher actually has a number that should be attached to that list as evidence of the salary payment. It is not. You know, I don't think we should, you know, you know exactly that is not.
Yeah, I think we are talking about accounting here. There's 3 payment vouchers. Salary payment vouchers, receipt payment vouchers, and other charge payment vouchers. This is what we know in accounting. Thank you.
This report is 2019-2020. And then,
you see, I'm telling you, this thing has been resolved, and we've improved. Now we are attacking the other payment vouchers as they request.
If you say
that's happening now.
If you say the issue has been resolved, I tend to doubt.
Yeah.
There is auditors' further comments that no evidence was provided to confirm that recommendation was implemented.
So I mean, as at now, the problem has been solved. We are attacking. As at now.
Talking of 2021, 2022 now.
Okay, 2021, 20. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I think, Chair, what we are trying to make him understand, if the issue has been resolved going forward, we can understand. But for him to say that that is a payment voucher, that's what we are saying is not. If you go to body by the public regulation, the financial regulation of 2016, it is not. That is not. That is not. That's what we were trying to say. But if you say that going forward, that has been corrected, and they're doing just like the auditor said, we are fine with that.
Yes, no, at first you.
I'm attacking preparing the audit vouchers, payment vouchers on the printout. Thank you.
We are expecting 2021 as usual.
2021 is a system. We have a IFMIS system.
Okay.
Just to remind him, we have issued on the IFMIS as well with payment vouchers also. We have. Good. So it's not like it's automatic.
Yes. You're welcome.
There were no individuals, no program schedule, and the report and the conclusion of the program. And most of all, there was also evidence that certain staff listed on the training, which was in a different region, were signing in for work on the same days. That is evidence. This does not give further investigation. You've been trained, you've been paid for attending whatever, in a different region, and yet you were present coming to work on Saturday. You cannot be able to. So this does not need further investigation. What makes this happen?
Yeah.
You have signed of your account as an individual. So this doesn't need further investigation.
Maybe. Yeah. Just as he rightly said, it is clear, but because as audit, audit is based on sampling, and it has sampling risks. Audit doesn't conduct 100%, is based on sampling. So based on that, that's why auditors will always say suspected fraud. So investigation will help to come to the bottom of this. Maybe it could have, because ours is based on sampling. So investigation will make them to conclude and then know the amount involved, and then and when did it actually started. So I think based on that, then maybe further investigation might be required just to substantiate the finding of the auditors. Yeah.
I think the investigation, that's why it has something to do with the CEO. That's why they had to reach out to the CEO to establish how that came about. So that's that.
How do you pay?
Thank you very much. Allowances are part of emolument. So you take care of all allowances, you have the cross. You take care of all you add allowances to the basic, you have the cross pay. From the cross pay, you have other deductions, i.e. income tax, loan, and other deductions. Then that total will be deducted from the cross pay. You have the net. It's the net we pay. Yeah. Okay. We normally draw receipts. We normally draw receipt for any individual we deduct. Like income tax, we draw receipt for that person. Yeah, we deduct it.
Now what we have, Honorable Chair.
I think before we care, because with time, I don't think accounting has principles auditors doesn't even say it has to be like that. We will code according to the financial regulation, according to this, any payment voucher, anywhere in the world for a payment to be effected, payment voucher is for a purpose. The ones we are talking about, they are just supporting document to support the payment voucher. So I think let's just try to move on. The director, honestly, no, that's what I'm just telling. No, I'm just telling him what he is saying. He cannot explain it.
One at a time. You draw a check. You draw a check on based on the net. Yes.
There are 2,000.
Okay.
That's 12,000.
Okay.
Then you draw a check for 12,000.
Yeah.
And then how do you treat that? This is what I'm saying. How do you take care of the other ones? And if there are deductions, how do you take care of the deductions?
I'm telling you, deductions will grow. That is
How do you don't draw a check? You send it to receipts.
Yeah, that we have deducted. It's a non-cash deductions. Sorry, non-cash deductions. Deductions. You have to withdraw receipts. That receipt will be reflected in our cash book. We were doing that, but auditors' advice was no. This was not best practice to record those non-cash transactions. The best practice to record the non-cash transaction in the cash book. Because it's a cash based that you have to actually post something which has actually been casted or withdrawn. Thank you. If you could understand.
Can we, Alaje?
Yeah, I would just want to close that.
Exactly.
I think he has said that they are now using IFMIS. When you process salary in IFMIS, does the system generate a payment voucher or not?
Even with the IFMIS, we still have challenges in salaries. IFMIS still does not capture salary. So what we have an Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, all the activities related to the salaries are highlighted and how much each of those particular an officer is supposed to have, including deduction for a particular purpose, whether 1/6, whether loan, are all on that Excel sheet for one particular officer. Okay. So all those things are calculated and that determines the net salary of the individual. Okay. So all these tasks are done that, and once it's finalized, then those on bank will be on one Excel sheet. Those on the counter, which we almost discouraged this month, almost all of them are almost on bank, is taken to Trust Bank, and Trust Bank is authorized to pay those officers to their various accounts.
So may I just understand that still now for your payroll, you are not raising payment vouchers?
We are doing that. We are doing that.
So then what's the issue? No, the auditors are telling you, you do not prepare payment vouchers. That was the thing. You have now gone to correct it. Just appreciate that that's the right way of doing it. Because if once you claim that it is not, you are believing yourself.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was the case. Yeah. As he said, that Excel sheet is printed, signed, and that was being kept for the month of January. After the audit advice, we started having the payment voucher as they advised.
So you've implemented the right thing.
Exactly.
So why don't you go back?
No, that's it. Yeah. We are Social Security. Here we are. But injury compensation. Yes.
That one you contribute, and then person also contribute. Yes. But you must prepare a salary journal at the end of each salary. So that the account. Otherwise, you are just overstating your salary.
No, in fact, that exactly what you said, that's what is happening. In fact, none of the staff is contributed to that provident fund. None of the staffs. even the injury compensation, we are still struggling. We received a letter from Social Security that we have to honor that. And yeah, exactly. The figure is high, but I cannot. I think it's up to 100. 100,000. Yeah, many years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Government. The council has provided a resident for you. Quarters, yeah. Chairman, sir, it's just recently that staffs moved to the resident, but they were renting. Yeah.
Can we proceed? Yeah? Good. The next issue is pertaining to, this one is about, okay, unpresented payment vouchers. Can you shed light on that?
Thank you very much. We've noted that during their exercise, audit exercise, these vouchers were not presented for them to audit. Still now we are finding these vouchers. We believe, because these vouchers they were already audited by our internal auditors. So during that time, they could not see, and we could not see. Still now we are looking for the vouchers.
You cannot trace them?
No, we cannot trace them as at now.
You know, one of the challenges we had was a Kuntaur office moved from the original office to a temporal office because the office was under construction. So this movement also affected some of the materials in the council. But I think they have to be provided.
Yeah, but when did you actually move? Was it in 2019 or 2020?
We moved to the new to the temporal office in 2019, and we moved back in 2023.
2023. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll still continue to search for them? Okay.
Yeah. Chair, you know my worry here is, this was just a sample. Yeah, this was just a sample. They didn't go every payment voucher that they prepared. So if you take a sample and you have this, I doubt when you go, transaction by transaction, is a very serious matter. Since it was an issue of 2019, I think it's better for them to go back and check the entire 2019 to ensure you have everything. Because this was just a sample. They just paid with 10, 15, or 20 to verify. All right.
Honorable Chair, agreed.
The time we are preparing this financial statement, we could not have those FICO from the Social Security. We could not establish the liability, because normally they normally come and give us the liability, the list. But the time of preparing this thing, we could not.
No. But it's your responsibility for you to ask. All of them, yeah.
I agree. I quite agree.